Well, ladies and gentlemen, behind the screen, he's wild and dangerous, but we all love him. This is Magilla with me for a real live chat. How's it going, Magilla?
Oh, I'm doing good. Very
Excellent.
excited about the new evidence.
I was going to ask you about your thoughts on both Kathleen Zellner's motion and the state's response.
Well, I think the bombshell with Zellner's motion is she's got an eyewitness who actually saw Bobby Dassey with the RAV4 after Teresa went missing.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I'm trying to work into a cohesive working theory with the other evidence. But that's a bombshell. And it definitely leaves us only one suspect if it's true. Of course, with his accomplices. I did read the state's response. I think they're making a big point out of her saying that she deposed him on the 11th, even though he signed the 10th on it. But in her write-up, she said the 11th and that they submitted it the 12th. And they're accusing her of not doing due diligence to make sure that the story is true. I'm sure she has a response for them if they're willing to listen. But I was a little disturbed to see my state's attorney general and assistant attorney general signing yet another document saying that they don't want to discuss the actual facts of the case and want to hide behind statements about things not being procedurally correct.
Yeah, excuse me. I know exactly where you're coming from on that. Yeah, that's. I mean, for me, as I said to Joyce earlier, I was of the opinion that, we're waiting on the Court of Appeals to discuss to look at this case, and they've got some pretty damning stuff to look at. The VLCD, the fact that Bobby is already a Denny suspect. He's passed that threshold ages ago. You've got the bones being handed back. You've got the bullet with wood on it, and you're wanting the state to have to, explain all of this, and this new motion, it sort of takes us back. But I just wonder if is Zellner just wanting to, as I said to Joyce, just bury Angela Sukovich under her own corruption. The fact that it's going to keep getting remanded back, it's all coming then forward back to the appeals.
She can't introduce new evidence at the appeals level.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just important evidence, and she wants to get it considered. I think Angela Sukovich is just an unfortunate locally elected judge who seems to think that just letting people hang and letting the police do whatever they want is the way to run the criminal justice system. I think she's maybe more interested in getting reelected than doing anything to actually make the word justice have meaning. I think Zellner's very straightforward. It's very important evidence if true. She's got no reason to believe it isn't true yet. I suspect she's done due diligence looking into it before she went this far. And again, we're just getting people pretending to be deaf, not wanting to actually look at the new evidence, and to just keep accusing. They actually accuse her of game playing and all sorts of things.
I know.
And they accuse her of delaying the case, which is laughable.
Well, yeah.
And they even say things like this evidence, if true, isn't even important. It's like, I think there's so much evidence proving that the police planted evidence, and the state has not made one admission yet. So it's getting very frustrating, and it seems like Zellner's used to this game. She has mentioned that Wisconsin's pretty backward compared to some of the other states she does work in, but but hopefully she can get him to take a step forward.
Well, you mentioned that, but I mean, at one time, Wisconsin was known as one of the most progressive states in America, wasn't it?
Well, what's happened, I actually think in the criminal justice, this case has actually done a lot to make it take a big step backward. They got him out on DNA evidence. He was the poster boy of wrongful convictions. And then by having him convicted as a murderer again, it goes back to this case that they pulled during the George H.W. Bush election when he was running against Dukakis, and Dukakis had let a man out of prison that committed murders.
Right.
And they were just running commercials nonstop showing him going through a turnstile, a black man going through a turnstile and saying that Dukakis had freed murderers from prison. And that ended up being the thing that brought him down in a lot of people's minds. So I just see, because we have these positions politically elected, they just see nothing but covering their ass and not wanting something bad to happen that can be blamed on them. And it's both parties, and our criminal justice system is just a political thing now that does nothing but protect the reputations of politicians.
Well, yes, certainly this is the hope, isn't it? That documentaries such as Making a Murderer and all the others, for want of a better word, the progeny of Making a Murderer, all the other documentaries that have come since, will create this, this whole new generation of people that grew up knowing about Making a Murderer, knowing about all the other documentaries. Your Staircases, your when they see a Central Park 5. The Innocence Files, the Innocence Projects.
Jinx was pretty good too.
So,
the Jinx, have you seen them?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes. I mean, that guy's going to be going to trial soon, isn't he? Because they actually managed to
get a recording of him. Yeah.
Yeah. It was something to do with handwriting on an envelope.
I haven't watched it for a while, but it's like it's daunting how much of this there is and how the state makes it so hard to fight these things. It's like takes a Herculean effort every wrongful conviction.
Yes.
The better states are putting in what they're calling conviction integrity units.
Yeah.
And having people who weren't involved in the prosecution reinvestigate when this type of evidence surfaces.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin, they've let these same people who are actually accused of crimes, and there's plenty of evidence to suggest they had it, continue to involve themselves in the follow-up appeals and of this case, which is just, it's infuriating.
Yeah. Anyway, looking forward to Sunday. Looking forward to seeing you in a few groups, in a few live presentations.
Well, I'd be excited to hear what other people have found. I think developing a working theory around this new discovery is a big thing. My biggest belief about it is it probably did not happen on the 5th of November. I think it happened earlier in the week.
Yeah, So
it just doesn't fit on the 5th. It conflicts. We start having to believe that Pam Sturms was in contact with the Holy Spirit, and nothing was going on the evening of the 4th.
Yeah.
And the RAV4 was nowhere near the yard during the 4th flyover, even though one frame seems to suggest it was. I think if it happens earlier in the week, it can be harmonized with what Wilmer thought, and it's possible after all these years that he's remembering the day that he realized he had seen it, but not the day he had actually seen it.
I was going to say we have the same scenario, don't you, with Lisa Buckner, with her remembering seeing Teresa there on the 31st, but it couldn't have been then because the car, Teresa wasn't taking photographs at the turnaround where the post boxes are. She was taking photograph of the van down the road. She just couldn't have seen.
Unless maybe Bobby had asked for a hustle shot at the turnaround, and she was up there taking a picture of something up there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to think about, and it's a good time for our celebration of the spirit of Irakosi, and maybe making things break our way.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there is a lot going on at the moment. Certainly, it's. I don't know if the word exciting is the word. I suppose yes, to a certain extent. It's there's just a lot going on. There is a lot going on, isn't there?
There's a break in the case.
Yes.
And that it's the biggest break probably since the forensic investigation by Zellner. So
yeah.
And that's huge. Unfortunately, most of what Zellner found is that law enforcement planted a lot of evidence.
Yeah.
And nobody's been brought to account.
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna say cheerio, let you go, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
You too, and you enjoy your evening there in Scotland.
Well, it's it's
or in Orange County. I'm not sure.
I'm in the Dude Studio in California, so it's let's see, 10 hours backwards. It's midday, just coming up for midday.
Might be a good time to go off to the beach, and
I think it would be, yes. Bit of surfing, a little surfing, bit of bodybuilding on the beach, yeah.
Or just maybe rollerblading down the causeway.
Absolutely. I can dream on, can't I?
Yeah. California dreaming.
Exactly. Mamas and papas. Okay. Cheers, Magilla. We'll see you soon.
Cheers, Paul. Talk to you later.
Okay. Cheers. Bye for now.